Hi guys, it's Amy, your golf coach. Welcome to Playing for the First Time series. Today we're going to talk about the golf terms. Ta-da! Subscribe, like, comment down below how your golf game is. Now, back to the golf lesson. Golf terms are very simple, yet you still have to know what they mean to fully understand what a golfer is talking about. So let's start from the top. And when you first pull up to the golf course, there is a bag drop. There are bag boys standing there. They get the bags out of your trunk and you drop your bag there and then you can go park. And then there's the clubhouse, which is the main building of the golf course. There's a pro shop in there. You can go in there to check in for your tee time. So you're paying the greens fee and you can either pay for yourself or for the whole group. And then they'll give you a receipt. You want to hold on to that receipt because when you grab your cart, which they usually give you the car keys at the shop, you go to your cart, find your bag, and then pull up to the first tee. They have starters who are checking for your receipts, making sure you have paid and confirming your tee time, and it's kind of organizing who goes off in front of who kind of thing. I usually, when I go to a fancy golf course I've never been to and I want a souvenir, I usually grab a ball marker. I just throw in my golf bag later when I need a ball marker, pops up and I'm like, oh, I remember going to Hawaii, or something like that. So in the clubhouse we have locker rooms as well. Fancy golf courses will have locker rooms. They will give you locker room keys. They will have people in there cleaning shoes. Actually, right now, because of COVID-19, I don't think there are any attendees there, but usually they do have them. And you can leave your shoes, jackets, or anything you want in the lockers and go play and then come back, pick it up. Sometimes have showers. In the USA, it's really normal thing not to take a shower after golf at the golf course. But in Asia, it's a culture where they have an amazing sauna at the clubhouse and you take a shower, change, and then go have a fancy dinner after. It's really rare to see locker rooms in public golf courses in the US, unless it's super fancy. In public courses, they may just have bathrooms. For a gentleman inside the clubhouse, usually it's an unspoken rule to take your hat off, especially on privileged high-end golf courses. They don't allow you to wear hats, no flip-flops, no cell phones in the clubhouse, but it all depends on what kind of golf course you go to. If you go to a very 9-hole course, super local public course, then everything is super casual. The clubhouse may not even be that big. They may only have a pro shop where there's a professional there checking you in. When you get down to the cart staging area, where if you dropped your bag at the bag drop, you'll have your golf bag ready on the cart. Now, they usually have a practice putting green and a driving range. Sometimes you have to purchase the practice golf balls in the pro shop. Sometimes you do it at the range. Every place is different, but you want to arrive early, anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour earlier. Stretching is so important. Warm up, grab a small bucket of golf balls, hit some shots and loosen up for the round. So that way you'll have better chances of hitting better shots and scoring better, having more fun, right? So warm up at the driving range and then come to the putting green. If you have a little bit of extra time, try and work on your putting, feel for the grass, how fast or slow the putting green is. Putting greens aren't always identical to the conditions on the golf course, but at least the type of grass is going to be the same. And when you have practiced, warmed up your putting, at least if it's too fast on the golf course, you can, you have something to adjust off of. So I think it's always a great idea to warm up your shots and putts before your round. You do that and then you get to the first hole. Oh, did I mention there are 18 holes to the golf course? There are 18 holes. There's a funny story. When golf started in Scotland, the gentleman actually had a bottle of scotch, right? They took a shot on every hole and then they ran out of the liquor after 18 holes. That's why they made it into 18-hole golf course. I've heard that story since growing up, very little, so I believe it. But anyways, so we have 18 holes to the golf course. If you're a complete newbie and your friend takes you to a par 3 9-hole course to start you off with, which is a very smart idea, then you'll have 9 holes. There are these things called par. So par is a given number of strokes per hole that you're allowed to use to get the ball in the hole. There are par 3s, par 4s, and par 5s. 3 kinds, that's it. Par 3s are called short holes. So basically it's a shorter hole. You can get the ball in the hole by 3 shots. And then par 3s are like mid-length holes. Get the ball in the hole by 4. And then par 5s are long holes. It's a lot longer in length. You can get the golf ball in the hole by 5 shots. So that's a par. So if you get a 3 on a par 3 hole, you got a par. If you get a birdie, that's 1 less than a par, which means you got it in 2. If you're on a par 4, obviously 3 is a birdie. And then if you get it in by 2 shots, which is fantastic, it's called an eagle. Yes, birdie, eagle, you see the pattern there, right? So an eagle. And then if you are on a par 5, you get the ball in by 4 shots, that's a birdie. 3, that's an eagle. If you get it in by 2, now it's an albatross. Still the pattern there. And then if you get the ball in by 1 shot, which is more common on par 3s, which is still very tough, it's called a hole-in-one, or say you aced it. It's an ace. Hole-in-ones are amazing. It's hard to get those though. You have to get pretty lucky as well. And then now let's go the other way. If you get 1 more than a par, now it's a bogey. If you get 2 more than a par, it's a double bogey. Kind of see a pattern there, maybe? Not yet. If you do 3 more than a par, then it's a triple bogey. If you do 4 more than a par, for example, you get an 8 on a par 4, that's a quadruple bogey. But since 8 is a double the number of the par, we sometimes call it a double par. On a par 5, to get a double par, you'd have to shoot a 10. On a par 3, you'd have to shoot a 6. So those are little, terms there you'll hear a lot of. If you know these, it'll come in a lot handier to understand everything. Now you get to the first hole where I told you there's a starter, checking your receipts, making sure, organizing the tee times, making sure you paid for the greens fee. They usually write down the number of your cart you're driving, and then sometimes ask you to sign a waiver. Please be careful driving the carts. So you get to the first tee. There's this thing called tee box. That's where you usually tee off from. Tee off. Tee box. Get it? So your tee shots are usually drivers, but if you prefer to hit something else, you are welcome to. On a long hole, if there is trouble, if you're not hitting your driver well, or if there's water in front, you gotta hit short of it. You can always lay up, hit short of whatever your target is. On a par 3, obviously, it's a shorter hole, so you would have to use irons or hybrids of that sort. I have used driver off of a really long par 3s too, so anything you tee off of, you call it a tee shot. And then there's a tee box, and then it's usually a closely mown area in a rectangle or a square looking, very neat looking. And then you'll see tee markers. You want to always tee up your golf ball behind that marker. If you go in front of it, you get penalized for it. So it's always behind the marker. You get 2 club lengths behind it. So that's the area you're allowed to tee off from. It's okay if your feet are outside that area, but if the ball is outside, then you get penalized. Rules we're gonna go into more thoroughly later. And then when you hit now, there's a area called fairway. That's what we like. We want to get on the fairway. It's a closely mown area. And then there's the first cut, second cut, rough. So first cut isn't as bad. Second cut is a very deep rough you want to avoid. So you go down your fairway, and there are these things called bunkers. You have fairway bunkers, which are bunkers in the middle of the fairway. Bunkers are like sand pits. Okay, but if there are bunkers closer to the green, which we're trying to shoot for, they're called the greenside bunkers. We don't like bunkers. Let's stay out of them, right? Especially if you're a newbie, you haven't learned to hit the bunker shots yet. I'll usually retrieve it and have them just hit regular shots. And then once they get used to playing on the golf course, then they're ready to learn that shot, then that's when I allow them to try out of the bunkers just for the pace and also to help you not stress out too much, because golf can get very stressful if you're playing for the first time. So fairway, first cut, second cut, fairway bunkers, greenside bunkers. Greens are where the flags are, hole cups are. That's where we're trying to get to. Greens are very closely mown area, even more than the fairway or the tee box. The grass usually on the greens are very fine and more expensive, so we don't want to drag our feet. We need to pick up our feet on the greens. The etiquette on the greens are a lot more strict just because it's so hard to keep up and maintain that grass. So you don't want to make any dents on the green, especially. You don't want to run on the green. There's just little things I want you to remember. You hit the green, you want to mark your ball. It's an etiquette. And you know, nowadays, ready golf is so in and it's for the pace of play. But traditionally, a golfer whose golf ball is farther away from the flag usually goes first. And then whoever gets the lowest score on the next hole has the honors. There's an honor system, honors, and get to tee off first. But if your playing partner is farther away than you, but he's not ready to putt, then you can be like, you know, I'm ready, so I'll go ahead. Why don't you take your time? And then it's completely okay to play first. It's just communicate with your partners so you know you guys are not hitting at the same time. If the balls collide, that's a big trouble. So always kind of notify if you're going first or second, or, you know, if you're waiting for him. So you guys always communicating. On the putting green, you are only allowed to use your putters because we're so sensitive about taking care of our greens. There are certain local rules that allow you to chip sometimes. You've probably seen pros chip on the greens once in a while. This is because maybe they have like a random bunker in the middle of the green, or the green is funny shaped, so there's no way they can putt through an edge that's curved or something. But that's very rare, so usually you're only allowed to use your putter on the greens. You can use the putter off the greens, like on the fringe, on the edge of the green, which is the first closely mown area just outside the green. I mean, I've seen people putt from everywhere, even out of the bunkers. So putter you can use anywhere, but on the greens you're only allowed to use your putter. So the whole cup and the flag, at the moment, because of the COVID-19, they do have a very special equipment on the flags so that you can use your putter head to get the balls out. A lot of people don't like it because they think it avoids slam dunking into the hole or doesn't make the right sound because of the extra accessory in there. But I think it saves your back. You don't have to bend over, it just, and the ball pops up, so, which is amazing. So flag, flag stick, hole cup, hole, pin placement. Pin placement is where the hole is. I think I covered just about everything for those who have never been on the golf course or have not learned these terms. If you have any questions on the terms, let me know. I could do like an additional golf term episode for you guys, or just answer you straight from the Ask Aimee section. Thanks for golfing with me. I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.